Hello all, today we are going to see about the topic co-reference resolution. So we need to understand what is co-reference resolution. Co-reference resolution is to identify all noun phrases that refer to the same entity. So we look at the example. The Barack Obama, the US former president, tweeted his New Year wishes. So here the words Barack Obama and the US former president are referring to the same person. So when we are computationally analyzing these sentences and we are building NLP applications on top of this, so we need to understand that our system needs to understand that the words Barack Obama and the US former president are the same person. So we'll look at the second example. The music was so loud that it couldn't be enjoyed. The word it is actually referring to the word music. And the third one, despite her difficulties, Swati went ahead to help him. So the word her is actually referring to the person Swati. So when we are building computational systems like machine translation, so we need to tackle all these pronouns like it and her. So then only the output in the target language will be correctly be translated. So that's when we need that. In the first example, when we look at the first example, the Barack Obama and the US former president are referring to this same person. So though they are expressed in different forms, they refer to the same person. So think of a summary generation example, or think of a information retrieval NLP application example. When we are identifying a topic of that particular text document for these applications, so these words should be counted together. So they should not be counted differently. So then only, let's say the text document is about Barack Obama. So though that document is talking about him in different forms, so but all these forms should be identified as a single entity and they have to be counted while we are identifying the topic. So otherwise we will be deviating from our target. So that's where these co-reference resolution make an impact in computational analysis. So we need to understand how many types of references that are prevailing in English. So before we go ahead and building the system for them. So the Barack Obama, the US former president, tweeted his New Year wishes. We'll take the earlier examples itself, so that's better. So here we are using different forms of references for the same person. So whereas in the second one, so we have used a pronoun. So we have used a pronoun. So this is called anaphora. So anaphora means like referring backwards. The pronoun which is related to another noun phrase and which relates back to searches for a noun phrase which is mentioned previously to it. That's what anaphora. So cataphora is the other way around. The pronoun actually comes before the actual noun it is referring to. So that is cataphora. So these kind of references we may foresee in while processing the English sentences. So yeah, so anaphora reference is actually this is the definition: the use of an expression whose interpretation depends upon another expression in the context. So in order to interpret this it, so think of a machine translation example, so you would get things better. So when you want to translate this it to the target language, first we need to understand to what noun it is actually referring to. So in order to understand that, we need to refer back to the noun it is actually referring to. So here it is actually referring to the word music. So it may be sounding simple when we look at the simple sentences, but think of a sentence, complex sentence, where it might have more than one or two nouns. Then we may have an ambiguity in uh, to boil down to find to what noun that it is actually referring. So that's where anaphora resolution gets complicated. So as mentioned earlier, so cataphora is the other way around. So when the referring expression is pointing forward, then we call it as cataphora. Yeah. So we need to clearly understand how anaphora and co-reference can be thought of. So this is how they differ. So here, in the example in which we saw earlier, Barack Obama and Obama is referring to the same person. Is co-reference. Whereas anaphora, there should be a linkage referring to in the text itself. So whereas in the co-reference it may not be. So you can have more than one mentions of the person Barack Obama. But whereas in anaphora, so there should be a referring back relationship in the text itself, which can point to a person. So that's where and that's how anaphora and co-reference differ from each other. Yeah, not all anaphoric relations are co-referential, so we'll understand that point through this example. We went to see a movie last night. The tickets were expensive. This is not co-reference. Why? Because the movie and the tickets are not referring to the same entity, whereas it is an anaphoric reference. Why? Because to interpret the tickets, we need to refer back what it actually refers to the movie tickets. So that can be interpreted only when we look back towards a noun which is related to it. So that is how anaphora is defined, and that is how co-reference is defined. So this is not a co-referential expression, but this is an anaphoric. So I'll repeat once again, anaphoric relations are nothing but when we have to interpret a particular word by referring back to its antecedent. That is anaphora. But co-reference is like having more noun phrases referring to a same entity. So the reverse is also true. All anaphoric relations are not co-referential. All co-referential relations may not be anaphoric. So that is also true. We may not have a referring back link always. Yeah. So we need to do this. Why we need to do all this is that, of course, we need to build many NLP applications. So text summarization. So when we need to summarize the text, we need to tackle all the co-reference noun phrases, co-referential noun phrases, and anaphoras should be tackled to get a good text summary. So otherwise, we would get a deviated summary. Yeah, in machine translation, definitely we need to tackle the anaphoric reference in order to get a correct translated output. Information extraction. So when we are extracting a particular name of a person, so named entity, we know what is a named entity. Named entity is the name of a person, place, or a currency. Those are called named entities. When we are targeting such a system which automatically extracts these named entity, so then we need to understand that those named entity, those cluster of named entities are referring to a same person. So otherwise, you would classify them in a different way. Information retrieval, so like in search engines, when we are building a search engine and when we are giving weightage to the indices, so when we are building index for a particular web page, we definitely need to understand that those noun phrases which are referring to the same person are to be given the counted together when we are giving them the weightage. That's where they make an impact. And of course, in dialogue systems, so when we are speaking, so we will definitely have so many anaphoric references. So that needs to be sorted out when we are building a dialogue system or a question answering system, so like we have in chatbots. Yeah. So now we need to understand how to build a reference resolution system. Like most of the NLP applications, reference resolution systems can also be built rule-based way, or it can be used in the through supervised algorithm. So we have Hobbes algorithm, which is a popular algorithm, which is based on rules. And we can also use any supervised algorithm like SVM, support vector machine, or naive-Bayes classifier. As we can foresee this as a classification task. So each noun phrase, each reference, we can think of a class, and then we can build a classification algorithms to identify the referring expressions. Yeah, so Hobbes algorithm based on extensive rules, and it taps the information out of the parser, syntactic parser. So it has so many handwritten rules. So we'll not go in depth of the rules present in the Hobbes algorithm, but we'll understand through these example how it actually works. So these are the two sentence parse trees. So we have two sentences. That is, Lynn's mom is a gardener. Craig likes her. So there are two sentences. Our task is to resolute the her present in the as to how Hobbes finds the correct noun phrase referring to it. So how the Hobbes algorithm works by understanding, traveling the parse trees. So it travels down in a breadth first fashion and from left to right manner. So until it finds the correct MP. So here how it works, we'll understand that the word her cannot be matched with the word Craig. Why? Because the rule is written in such a way that when we have noun phrases, when we there is no noun phrases in between NP4 and NP5. So had it been that case, so Craig would have been referring to her. For example, Craig's mom likes her. In that case, if the NP mom was present, then Craig would have referred to the her would have referred to Craig, but that is not present, so we can reject Craig. So then the rule says that we have to move upwards to the previous sentence, and we have to fix it with the first noun phrase we find in there. In that case, what we have here is the Lynn's mom. So the Lynn's mom is actually the her is actually referring to the Lynn's mom. That is how this is interpreted. So this actually works perfect. This is extensively based on the rules which are written extensively for English language. So Hobbes algorithm is a rule-based reference resolution system. Yeah, so when we need to build a supervised resolution classifier, of course, we need to have features. So features to build a supervised classifier. So there are so many features that can help us to build a classifier. For instance, constraints. So when we talk of constraints, PNG, so PNG, we know that is person, number, and gender agreement. Person denotes like first person, second person, and third person. Number is singular or plural. So gender is female or male gender. So these kind of constraints can help us to an extent to resolute a referential expression. For instance, it, he, she, his, her, him definitely refers to a single entity. So if we have more entities which are referring back, so we can pick the correct entity which is a singular entity. So when there is a word it and there are so many nouns before it, so we can pick the noun which is a singular noun. So that's what it means. That's how it helps. So when we talk of person, he, she, they refer to the same, the third person entity. So when we find these kind of pronouns and we have more nouns in front of them, so we can pick the correct appropriate third person noun. And in the example regarding the gender, so here Jack gave Mary a gift. She was excited. Of course, she can only be a Mary and cannot be a Jack. That's how gender agreements help us to find the correct nouns. The other feature that could help us is recency. More recently, so the intuition is that more recently mentioned entities are likely to be referred. So that's the intuition that may not be working always. That should also be kept in mind. So when we look at these three sentences, John went to a movie, Jack went as well, he was not busy. So the he is most likely to refer to Jack. Actually, it is referring to Jack here. So he refers to Jack than John. So because it is the recent one. So he may also refer to John in some cases, but the intuition is that the he will always be referring to the recently mentioned entity than the father one. And a grammatical role can also be used as the feature. For example, the subject possession entities are most likely to be referred than the object possession entities. We'll understand that through this example. John went to a movie with Jack. He was not busy. So this he is referring to actually John than Jack. Why? Because Jack is in the object possession, that John is in the subject possession. So according to English, this may not suit for the other languages. So this he is most likely to refer to the subject entity than the object entity. That's how this feature helps us. Parallelism, John will understand through this example again. John went with Jack for a movie. Joe went with him. So there are this went with, the word went with is a clue. So there is a parallelism we can identify. John went with Jack. Joe went with him. So obviously him is referring to Jack. That's how this helps us. We can also tap the verb semantics. Certain verbs gives us the clue if the subject should be referred to or the object should be referred to. For example, John criticized Bill. He lost the laptop. So, so here, this Bill is a person. John is also a person. So here he lost the laptop in the sense like, so the John, this he is actually referring to John than Bill. So why? Because the verb semantics is helping us to find the resolution here. So John criticized Bill. He lost the laptop. So the way the verbs are used, the order in which the verbs are used tells us that this he is the referring to the subject noun in the previous sentence than the object ones. That's how it is helping. And the selectional restriction that uses the semantics. So we need to understand the semantics here. John parked his car in the garage after after driving it for hours. So of course this it cannot be a garage and it can only be a car. So it cannot drive a garage. It can only drive the car. So that means like we need to understand the semantics introduced in the present in the sentences. Yeah, we can implement coreference in Python. So we have a neural coref library in Spacy. So like we have NLTK, so we know that Spacy is an NLP library in Python. So in that we have neural coref, which can be used to build a coreference system. Also, Hobbes algorithm code is available in GitHub, through which we can build coreference systems. So this is about coreference resolution. Thank you.